So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open or import the project that we're looking at. So I've divided this video into, well, you divided it into 4 parts. I'm going to start with part 1. So we're going to get the video imported. Now we're only going to have the audio track, so you can see right away. I want to check and see where the clipping is. There's lots of clipping in this video. Now this section down here I'm not too worried about because that's where the cell phone alarm goes off, and it actually doesn't sound bad. But this front part, distortion, is really not so good. I'm going to select the normalize effect, and that's just going to bring the levels down just a little bit. And so now you can see the waveforms aren't going off the top of the screen, but there's still a lot of clipping going on, especially where the flat parts are, and you can probably hear that through this little segment that I'm going to play back. See, there's lots of distortion, especially when those voices come up. So I'm just going to stop that. Going to zoom in a little bit. Kind of move back to that that one spot. Zoom again. Move back. You could actually use the zoom up in the toolbar right next to the recorder functions. But okay, so we've got the area that we're looking at. Going to take and select just a small piece with all that clipping in it. Going to go to Effect, Noise Removal, and now I'm going to get a noise profile. So what I'm doing is I'm getting the system to take a sample of that noise. It's a very short sample, so you don't need to select very much. Now I'm going to select the entire section. I'm going to go to Effect, Noise Removal, and then I'm just going to say OK. So now it's going to process that, and see, it starts to take off some of that flattening at the top, and it's starting to sound a little bit better. What I'm going to do now is repeat that noise removal, and it's going to drop it down even more. So relatively, the volume is quite a bit better than where it was when it was totally clipped at the top. Now I'm going to take this other segment here, which I know is also really, really loud, and I'm going to do the same thing. I've already got my noise profile, so I'm just going to remove the noise. So now I'm going to take the same effect and apply it. Sorry, I'm going to do the normalize again one more time. Now I'm going to play it back. Turn my volume down on my system a little bit because it's really cranked. And my speakers could be distorting it a little bit, so I had to drop the volume a bit. So you can see that's starting to sound an awful lot better. We'll just kind of play it through the parts that we really didn't like. Now we got this really low part where we want to boost the volume, so I'm going to do the amplify effect, and I'm just going to let it amplify at the default, and we'll see just how that sounds. It looks like it's a little too high, so I'm going to do the amplify effect again, drop it down to about 3.5. See how that waveform looks. So now we got slight volume increase, And this is starting to sound quite a bit better. Okay, so I'm going to take this section here. I'm going to do the reverse amplify, so I'm going to take it negative just to drop it down just a little bit more. And I'm going to do the same with this other earlier section. Drop it down just a little bit. And now when I play it back, the levels are starting to sound actually quite a bit better. Yes, I'm actually liking the way this is sounding a lot more. So now we're going to get to where that cell phone alarm goes off, and you can see that even though it looks like it's clipped, the level of sound fits right in with the soundtrack that we've been creating here. Okay, so that segment's done. Listen to this one more time. Okay. I'm going to bring this just down just a little bit more because it's still kind of loud. And so there is a lot of back and forth that you need to do. I'm going to bring this segment up a little bit because it's still kind of low. Listen to it one more time. And I'm actually really starting to like the way this is sounding. So you can go back and forth, and you can undo as many times as you want. Well, no, not as many times, but within reason. So now what we're going to do is we're going to export it. And I'm going to give it a name. but I'm going to give it a new name because I've been messing around with these files. I'm going to call it segment 1-2, and I'm going to save it. So now it's going to go off and save that file. But one thing that I forgot to tell you is that one of the quirks of Audacity is that it actually puts in a short segment of blank space. So we need to remove some of that. Actually, we need to remove all of the sort of zero level stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that, and then I'm just going to click the delete key. And so when we go to sync this back up, we should it should sync up the way we want it to. And so I'm going to need to resave that. So I'm going to export it under the same file name because the first one just didn't have that segment removed. And that's pretty much it for the first segment of the audio. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that new audio track into the original. So I'm going to bring back segment 1. So we have our video and our audio track. I'm going to adjust it for my monitor settings. And then I'm going to bring in the new audio track, and I'm just going to drop it down to the track below the current audio track because I want to see how they line up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of zoom in to look at both audio tracks, and really what I'm looking at is the waveform here. So the third track, which is the new one, is going to be a little bit more low, or in terms of the level. But I'm just going to expand the audio tracks a little bit so that we can get a good view of them. Going to scroll down to a pattern that I can recognize, and now see, I can see that these line up pretty good. So because you're not you don't have people's lips moving, it doesn't need to be 100% perfect. This will be very close. So now I'm just going to zoom into one of these cell phone rings because that's a really short burst. And if I can see that the audio synced well there, then I'm going to be really happy because the audio ran for the full track. So see, we're running into a problem with we can only go by frame here. So I'm just going to have to get as close as I can. And if I look there, I've got just the very end of the track. So now what I'm going to do is put everything kind of back into the right sizes. Going to mute the original and playback segment of the new track, and just to make sure that it kind of looks and sounds the way I want it to. So I'm liking how it's sounding. Now it's just a matter of deleting the original audio track and exporting the file to a DVD or whatever.